I, Herbert S. Sinclair of the Mount Holly Estate at Reddington, do publish and declare this instrument my last will and testament. I give and bequeath to my grandnephew, Simon P. Jones, all of my right, title, and interest in and to the house and land which I own near Mount Holly. The above provision and bequest is contingent on my aforementioned grandnephew discovering the location of the 46th room of my 45-room estate.
You know, I've played a lot of puzzle games in my time, whether we're harking back to a Day of the Tentacle type point and click adventure, or I'm utilising my grey matter on the latest Wordle or Nonogram. The geek in me isn't afraid to admit that I like a mental challenge. Well, Blueprints promises a genre-defying puzzler, so it seems like as good a place as any to flex my noggin once more. After my relative success with Lorelei and the Laser Eyes last year, I've wrestled with the best of mansion-based puzzlers, so this will be a walk in the park compared to that, right? Right? Blueprint sets out its stall a little differently from most puzzlers by also being a roguelike house builder. If that sounds weird, well, allow me to explain. You are Simon P. Jones, the heir to the Mount Holly estate. However, there's a single stipulation in the will that to claim the mansion for yourself, you must discover the 46th room hidden within. No small feat considering the mansion only has 45 rooms. Gameplay begins when you open your first door. As you do, you must decide which square room from a random selection of 3, hence the roguelike aspect, will be placed on either side of the threshold. You might have the option to pick a kitchen, or a comfy den, or a lavatory, or something else entirely. Each room has different special effects as well as layouts. Many will have doors to lead you to keep building more rooms on your 9x5 floor plan, whereas some may be dead ends requiring you to return to an as yet unopened door. It's not just about the luck of the draw though. You have intentional constraints placed upon you as you place down your rooms and build up the mansion. You have a set number of steps you can take each day, and movement into a room uses a step. This means you can't just keep backtracking all over the place as you'll run out of steps and have to start again the next day. Other currencies include keys for doors that might be locked, and as you go further north, special gems are required to place down rarer special rooms, or coins can buy helpful items from shops. Run out of any of these though, and you might have no option but to try again the next day, and that's why careful thinking over each of your choices and learning from your previous mistakes prove invaluable. But what's the objective here? We know we need to find room 46, right? But what does that even mean? Well, I obviously won't spoil, but one thing to expect with Blueprints is to have your expectations for what the ultimate goal is and how to get there subverted on countless occasions. When I finally did roll credits, I'd been surprised numerous times, gobsmacked even, at the unravelling additional layers that belie the original facade of the main mechanics. I was confidently strutting around like Jay from The In-Betweeners, having completed it, mate, as those credits finished, only to have the rug pulled out from under me. Turned out this game had so much more to give, so much more it was hiding from me in plain sight, and then it did that again and again and again. It's hard to convey just how much there is inside Blueprints. There's an attention to detail here that boggles the mind with every little discovery. That detail also helps create an enormous sense of history, lore and world building. Despite never leaving the grounds of the Mount Holly estate, I felt like I've travelled to all 7 realms that make up its world. I appreciate the history that has shaped its present day and can tangibly feel the political undercurrents felt by its citizens. I yearn to know more about my family's past, their relationships and motivations, and how they may have felt trying to accomplish the task given to me. Not bad for a story told through hints and clues in books and scraps of paper. This is masterful storytelling that gives you just enough breadcrumbs to fill in the gaps and supplement your puzzling with a rich, vibrant and not always positive past. The cel-shaded visual identity helps create a crisp but almost cartoon-like vibe to the surroundings, which is often juxtaposed with the serious nature of your undertaking. But these clean visuals mean every detail is clear and well presented as long as you look carefully enough and in the right places. And accompanying everything is this lovely atmospheric soundtrack that at moments almost feels akin to something like Breath of the Wild. I cannot ignore the argument some will make about the randomness of drawing certain rooms, and yes, despite there being plenty hidden in this game to further manipulate and turn the tables in your favour, there's still a random element at play. You'll often want to draft a certain room because it contains a piece of a puzzle you want to refer to or where your next solution lies, and despite everything, it just won't appear. That's something you'll have to endure with Blueprints, but the pathway to the solution isn't linear, and while working towards problem A, you'll unwittingly stumble on something towards problem C that you weren't expecting, and maybe even discover a brand new problem G to further ruminate on. A new room or clue will provide wonder and bamboozlement in equal measure, and so it continues for an unfathomable amount of time, but keeps you hooked with just enough tidbits along the way. It's a very rare but joyful experience when a game simply enthralls you, a game that wraps you up in itself like a warm duvet on a Sunday morning. You find yourself almost unwittingly at its beck and call, as it's the first thing you think of when you wake up and the last thing you consider before dropping off into a slumber on its terms. But while my wife may have some choice words to say about my focus and headspace priorities these past few weeks, Blueprints deserved every bit of my attention. I've never played anything quite so engrossing, alluring, mysterious and downright addictive. Uncovering the layers of puzzles and Mount Holly shenanigans like some delicious onion never became tiresome, and I envy those newcomers going in blind, unprepared for what they'll uncover. Blueprints is something truly spectacular. New kind of puzzle game that grabs you from the moment you place your first blueprint and never lets go. Hi there, this is Mick Fraser from Loot Level Chill. I hope you enjoyed that review of Blueprints. That's not Blueprints, that's Blueprints by Chris Hyde. If you did, why not hit like and subscribe? Maybe tag the bell icon too, so we can keep you up to date with everything we post going forward. And if you really enjoy our output, it'd be great if you pop along to our Patreon and give us a little bit of support there too. We know times are hard, but anything and everything you guys do for us helps us keep the lights on. In the meantime, I've been Mick Fraser, and that was Chris Hyde's review of Blueprints. Take care.